We welcome in the linebacker of the Philadelphia Eagles, Nigel Bradham. Nigel Bradham report from our good friends at PhillySportsTrip.com and, of course, sponsored by Ernest Susano Fashion Butcher Shop. Nigel, good to talk to you. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. Coming off a big win, so I couldn't feel any better.
Did that seem like a home game yesterday?
Oh, for sure, man. The fans showed a tremendous amount of love out there, being able to travel and get out there and creating all the excitement. I mean, they were doing chants the whole game, so it definitely felt like a home game.
I was talking about this at the 12 o'clock hour during the opening monologue. You know, sometimes a series or two can kind of set the stage, set the tone for a season, let alone a game. The first defensive series yesterday, Long makes the big play with the strip sack. You guys recover the ball, and then you methodically march down the field, and you get that touchdown. But you were also able to establish that ground game early on. Listen, I know you go into that game yesterday with some secondary issues, some injuries. Fletcher doesn't play. It was tough to get to Rivers all day long, but that's a big play early on by Long.
Oh, that's a tremendous play. And like you said, it set the tempo of the game. I felt like that play came out. He came out and really set the tone for us of what we wanted to establish, being able to get the ball in our offense hand right away, creating that turnover, and them being able to capitalize on that and score was huge. It definitely took the momentum out of them, and they had our crowd, which made it feel like a home game, even more excited.
And I think more importantly, that's an 8-play, 65-yard drive. But like I said, the offense ran the ball 4 or 5 times for 25 yards. So, again, to me, it's all about setting the tone. We talked about this last week, right? You know, you start running the football in the NFL, and I know the Chargers are not the greatest run defense. You saw what Kansas City was able to do. But you guys go out there, and now the head coach turns around the last 2 weeks. You know, we'll talk more about the defensive side of the ball, but you've run the ball 69 times. So I don't know if Doug's listening in. Maybe he heard the spot, but you know, you've run the ball like that with a lot of frequency. Listen, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Yeah, and it's going to keep our defense well rested.
Yes,
and that's a huge part of the game. Being able to control that clock and get that run game established. I mean, it was working for us. So, I mean, I believe that he was listening to us last week, maybe. I mean, we established that run game, and we got it established. And, I mean, they couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop it. It was great to see, man, because I knew all week that we wanted to focus on getting that run game going to be able to take some pressure off of Carson. I mean, and that was a tremendous play he had all day yesterday. I mean, being able to make moves and being smart with the ball. Man, he did tremendous things for us throughout the whole game yesterday, just being the leader that he is.
I also thought one of the other plays was, and I'm trying to timestamp it, so forgive me if I'm trying to be accurate on this one, where I guess you, I don't know if it was, I think it was a deep ball, but you chased down the wide receiver, because that turned out where if you don't chase him down, that's probably going to be a touchdown. The defense buckled down, and the Chargers had to settle for 3 points. I think it was late. It would have made it, I think it was a 16. It made it 16-10 at that time. So that was kind of a big play as well.
Yeah, that was a huge play for us at that time. Like you said, the game was close. Like you said, if they would have scored right there, that would have put them right in the game, man. And we pretty much just had a mentality of being but not breaking. And as far as for me, that was pretty much just an effort play, man. I was actually trying to strip that ball out at the same time, but I didn't quite get it. But it was close. I felt it almost come out a little bit, so hopefully soon I'll be able to force a couple fumbles. But yeah, man, that was just one of those effort plays. Just being able to be able to, you know, I mean, we know they're gonna make plays.
Right. It was on the Allen play. Now I remember it was the Allen, the catch and run. Yep.
Right. So it was Keenan Allen, and I mean, he's a great receiver, one of the top receivers in the league. And like we had a young corner on him, Rasul. He ended up being ready for that challenge though. As the game went on, he ended up making some plays for us and standing in there. But it definitely was a tough game for him at first. They was trying to pick on him, but he stood in and stood up for that challenge.
Yeah, he had a rough afternoon early on, and it's tough because he played pretty well the last 2 weeks. You know, is it concerning though that some of these big plays are happening, and I get it. When you're not getting the pass rush, you're not getting it consistently, and some guys are nicked up. You look at some of these long touchdown plays, right? The Giants were able to do it on the slant with Shepard. Yesterday, Rivers was able to connect a couple times. You know, the 50, 60-yarder, it's, you know, some of those, they can be backbreakers. I mean, it didn't go against you yesterday, but is that something that you guys need to tighten up a little bit? Is it lack of communication? What's going on there?
Oh yeah, it's definitely something we need to tighten up a lot on actually, because we letting teams get back into the game, and when we start playing teams who are great teams and playoff teams, we can't do that. We can't make those kind of errors, you know, because those games might not work out in our favor if we do such things like that. But it was more so like, I know the big bomb to I think it was number 16. Yeah, Williams.
Yes, the 70-something odd yarder. Which, it seemed like he got behind the secondary.
Yeah, he did. And we was trying to show blitz, and we had brought our safeties up, and our corners just didn't get a little bit deep enough, and that's all that was. So it was probably more so a little bit of miscommunication. And not everybody being on the same page. What
again? Nigel Bradham joining us in his weekly spot. Rich Quinones here. What happened on the one play? I guess it was the Eckler play, kind of reminiscent of the Hunt touchdown on the ground a couple weeks ago. Was that over pursuit?
Well, that one was we ran a blitz, right? We ran a blitz, so we actually were running the blitz off of the edge to that side.
Yeah, but once you do that, though, right, Nigel, you got the last line of defense. I mean, once he breaks free in second tier, that's it.
And that's what happened. They pulled like two guards. They pulled the backside guard, and the front side guard was running like a jet sweep.
Yep.
And he cut it back, and it just cut right off the edge where nobody was really there. I mean, we had a blitzer coming off the edge, but he was more so going to the quarterback, and it kind of just hit that seam right there between him and that lane, and that's all that was, man. So that one was just kind of like, it's kind of just a bad situation.
And they caught a good play call. That was they popped one off. I mean, it happens.
Right, and it's football. It happens. That was a scheme play, and that's all it was. They knew we probably was going to be blitzing right there. And it was a good scheme play by them. They got us on that one.
How now you can speak to this more from a defensive side of the ball, how demoralizing is it late in a game when a team's protecting the lead and they just consistently and constantly cram the ball? Forget about 4-minute offense. They just cram the ball down your throat, because you watched that game yesterday, 6 and some change that last drive. It's been a long time since the Eagles basically burned out the clock like that offensively. I mean, defensively, you guys were sitting there probably smile from ear to ear, but talk a little bit about how demoralizing can that be to a defense where they know they're going to run the football and you can't be stopped.
That's definitely demoralizing, man. It's when you know they're running the ball and you can't do anything about it. You got a back like Blunt back there, able to just pound and break tackles. It wears down that defense, and it kind of takes away their confidence. And I felt like you could kind of see it a little bit with their defense, just being able to be out there and watching them. You kind of see their demeanor change. They're like, man, we can't. There's no way we could figure out how to get this guy.
Well, they start making business decisions.
Yo, that's what.
Yeah, that's what we call it in the media. Business decisions late in the game where you just can't stop them. Listen, I said this before. It's hard to win in the NFL week in and week out, and it's hard to win on the road. It's funny, too, because now you're starting to get a secret weapon in the special teams with this Elliott kid. I mean, he's just throwing kicks left and right. I mean, that's something to, where you have confidence where even if the play doesn't develop on third down and you got to line up for a long field goal, I mean, it's almost as though you have the head coach has confidence in this kid to nail him.
Yeah, and we all do. We all have confidence in him. Like I said, like I told you, I remember when he first got here, he was driving them, man, from deep, like 61, 65. Like he was just driving them, and he's been consistent with it all throughout the week since he's been here. And the kid works, man. I mean, it's unbelievable how strong his leg is because he's so small. But he's accurate, and we definitely have a lot of confidence in him. And if he's getting that 60 range, man, we definitely gonna pretty much put him out there and let him go get it for us.
Two more before I let you get here. Those always Eagles linebacker Nigel Bradham joining us on his weekly spot from Ernest & Son Old Fashioned Butcher Shop. Rich Quinones here. We'll take you up to 2. You got Arizona coming up. The Panthers with a big win. You know, I know you never scoreboard watch, and it's too early in the season to start looking around. But let's be honest, there's some parity going on in the NFL where the Rams go into Dallas and they win that game. Carolina goes on the road and they win that game. The Jets get a win. I mean, you look around the league, there's a lot of parity. So it's imperative to get off to this type of start, is it not?
Oh yeah, it's huge. Because you pretty much set up yourself for those November and December type games when there's times where you're gonna have teams where you're getting ready to play for those playoffs. So these early wins are huge, man. We get these early wins and we just start rolling, and being able to just capitalize on that and take advantage of getting these W's early in the season, so that way we don't have to make up late in the season and just continue to win, man, and get that playoff run going. That's all we're trying to do.
And lastly, you got Arizona, as I mentioned, coming up. You basically had 3 pocket passers. You had Eli, you had Rivers, and now you get Carson Palmer. And listen, I mean, they fought tooth and nail against a young but a team that played hard in San Francisco. But Arizona, they can run the ball a little bit too, even though they don't have Johnson. They still got some playmakers. They still have Fitzgerald. The quarterback at times, if you fluster him, if you pressure him, he's going to make a mistake. So just give me your thoughts as we close it out, the test ahead that is the Cardinals.
I'm definitely looking forward to this week, man. It's going to be a big game for us. It's a home game. We're going to be at the Link, so I feel like we always do pretty well in the Link. So we definitely confident going into this game, and we're going to be ready, man. We know they got a good offense. Like you said, the quarterback is great. The veteran wide receiver Fitz has been doing tremendous this year, and he hasn't been having any drops like any other year he has.
He's amazing. He can just keep going. Right. He's amazing. But that quarterback though, if you flush him out of the pocket a little bit and that pocket collapses, he starts throwing off his back foot a little bit. He's going to make some mistake. I mean, look, I know you're not going to give the game plan away, but I would not be shocked if Jim dialed up a bunch of blitzes on Sunday.
Hey, we'll look forward to it. I can't say that. We're gonna do something to get them off the spot.
Well,
I know that. Either whether it's with our front four just rushing by themselves or us blitzing. We'll mix it up, I'm sure.
Yeah, you have to too. Yeah, you have to. You're gonna be tuned into the Redskins game tonight.
Oh, of course. Always, man. Gotta watch Monday Night Football. It doesn't matter who plays. I'm always tuned in to that.
All right, well, I would say you technically had 3 straight home games because yesterday was considered a home game.
Yeah, it was. It felt like a home game. Like, I'm telling you, those chants were insane.
Is it weird playing in a stadium that small?
It kind of felt like, but it was kind of cool at the same time because we actually, we could hear our fans like that. I don't know. I felt like we kind of had more fans than they had. I don't know if that was true or not, but it felt like that. So it was kind of weird. It kind of felt like more so like, high school or like a college spring game.
Right, spring practice.
I
Exactly.
mean, but it was intense, though, at the same time.
It was,
our fans really came and showed up, man. For the last 2 away games, man, they really impressed us.
I don't know. I was waiting for the parents to come out at halftime with the Gatorade and the orange slices. All right. Yeah, exactly. All right, my friend. Good stuff as always. Good luck against Arizona. We'll talk to you next Monday, pal. Always appreciate it.
All right, thanks.